talking about hobbies and free time. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Everyday English. I'm Peter, and today we're diving into one of the most enjoyable topics in language learning, talking about hobbies and free time. Now, who doesn't love chatting about what they do when they're not working or studying? I'm sure you have loads of interests and fun activities in your free time, and today, I want to explore how to express all that in English with a vibrant variety of vocabulary. Before we jump into specific words and phrases, let me share a little. Story. Not too long ago, I was at a social gathering, and someone asked, "What do you do in your free time?" I froze for a moment. I knew I had so many hobbies, listening to music, hiking, reading, even dabbling in cooking, but I struggled to find the right words. I ended up saying something like, "I like stuff," which, as you can imagine, didn't exactly capture my interests. That moment was a wake-up call. I realized that I needed a better way to talk about my hobbies, not just in a vague way, but with detail and enthusiasm. And that's what we're going to do today. Talking about your hobbies isn't only a fun conversation starter. It's a way to show personality and connect with others over shared interests. Whether you're meeting new friends, networking in a professional setting, or just chatting with colleagues, having a varied vocabulary to describe your free time activities can open up entire conversations. Imagine you're at an event, and someone asks, "So, what do you do when you're not working?" Instead of a simple, "I watch TV," you can say, "I'm really passionate about indie films and love to spend my weekends visiting local film festivals." See the difference? Suddenly, you sound interesting and engaging. Take a moment right now, grab a notebook or open a note on your phone, and write down 3 hobbies or free time activities that you enjoy. It can be anything. Now think about how you might describe each in English. Hold that thought. We'll revisit it later. Let's start expanding our vocabulary with some common phrases and expressions that you can use when talking about hobbies and free time. Reading and writing. I'm an avid reader and always have a book with me. I enjoy writing short stories or keeping a journal. Lately, I've been into nonfiction, especially biographies and historical accounts. Listening to music. Music is my escape. I love exploring different genres, from classical to indie rock. I'm really into podcasts and live music gigs. There's nothing like feeling the energy of a live band, sports, and outdoor activities. I love playing soccer and going for long runs in the park. Hiking is one of my favorite activities. I relish the peace of nature and a good challenge. I'm a big fan of cycling. It's not only great exercise, but also an excellent way to discover new areas. Art and crafts. I'm passionate about painting and drawing. I find it incredibly therapeutic. I enjoy doing DIY projects on the weekends. Building something with my own hands gives me a real sense of accomplishment. Cooking and baking. I love experimenting in the kitchen. Trying new recipes is a fun way to explore different cultures. Baking, especially making bread and pastries, has become a weekend ritual for me. Traveling and exploring. I'm a travel enthusiast. Whenever I get the chance, I explore new cities and immerse myself in local cultures. Weekend getaways are my favorite way to relax and recharge. Digital and creative arts. I enjoy digital photography and creating short films. Capturing moments in time is truly magical. Graphic design is another hobby of mine. I love experimenting with color, typography, and layout. Each of these phrases not only describes an activity but also shows your enthusiasm and personality. Notice how adding adjectives like avid, passionate, or enthusiastic gives your description more life. Expressing your hobbies. Now, let's do a quick exercise together. I want you to choose one hobby from the list we just covered, or one that you love. How would you describe that hobby in at least 2 sentences? For example, if you enjoy reading, you might say, I'm an avid reader, and I particularly enjoy mystery novels. I often lose track of time when I'm reading, and it's the perfect escape after a long day. Feel free to pause the podcast here. Take a moment and think about your description. When you're ready, you can even say it out loud. This exercise will help solidify the new vocabulary in your memory. One of the best strategies that helped me achieve fluency is practicing conversations, even on my own. You might ask, but how can I practice conversations by myself? Well, to help you with that, I've prepared a complete guide titled How to Improve My English by Practicing Conversations, Even Alone. You can get this guide for free in PDF format by clicking the link in the description or in the pinned comment. Common pitfalls and how to avoid them. While talking about hobbies, one common mistake I used to make was being too vague. Instead of saying, I like movies, try to be specific. I'm a huge fan of independent films and love catching screenings at small local theaters. Specificity not only shows that you're more engaged, but also invites further conversation. Another pitfall is using overly simple language. I used to say, I like to play sports, but then realized that I enjoy playing soccer and tennis, and I try to stay active by running every weekend, sounds much more interesting and informative. It's all about adding layers to your description. Let me share a personal moment with you. There was a time when I met someone at a conference and we started talking about hobbies. I mentioned that I love hiking, but then I went on to explain how I once hiked the Blue Ridge on a crisp autumn morning. I described the vibrant colors of the leaves, the fresh air, and how the challenging climb felt so rewarding at the summit. That detailed conversation not only broke the ice, but also led to an invitation to join a hiking group. It was one of those moments when I realized that sharing more about my hobbies made me more relatable and sparked genuine connections. Here are some handy conversational cues you can use when talking about hobbies. What about you? What do you enjoy doing? In your free time? That sounds interesting. How did you get started with that? I find that really fascinating. I'd love to hear more about your experiences with it. These open-ended questions keep the conversation flowing and show that you're genuinely interested in the other person's passions. Remember, a good conversation is a two-way street. Let's boost your vocabulary a bit more. When discussing hobbies, try incorporating these adjectives and phrases. Passionate, I'm passionate about. Enthusiastic, I'm an enthusiastic follower of. In my spare time, I often. I relish the opportunity to. I'm drawn to. I'm naturally drawn to. It captivates me. It captivates me how? For example, instead of saying, I like painting, you might say, I'm passionate about painting because it captivates me how colors can evoke emotions. Now, I have a little interactive segment for you. I'd love for you to think about these questions. What is one hobby that you are truly passionate about? How do you usually describe this hobby to someone who knows nothing about it? Can you think of any new adjectives or phrases from today's episode that you might use to add extra color to your description? Take a minute or two to think about your answers or even jot them down. Once you have them, try saying them aloud. Practicing out loud is key to making these phrases a natural part of your vocabulary. Talking about your hobbies and free time isn't just an English exercise. It's a way to share your personality and connect with others. The more detailed and enthusiastic you are about your interests, the more engaging your conversations become. Remember, every time you add a little extra detail, you're practicing not only vocabulary but also your confidence in speaking. I hope today's episode has given you some useful tools and a fresh perspective on how to talk about your free time. Next time you're in a conversation, don't hold back. Instead of giving a short answer, try to elaborate and add that extra bit of color. You might be surprised at how much interest it can spark. Before we wrap up, I'd really love to hear from you. What are your hobbies? How do you describe them in English? Share your thoughts, comment section below. Your feedback might even inspire a future episode. Also, if you enjoyed this episode and found the vocabulary tips helpful, please subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, and share it with friends who are also learning English. Every bit of support helps us all grow together. Thank you so much for spending these 15 minutes with me today on Everyday English. I hope you leave this episode feeling more excited about talking about your hobbies and free time. Remember to be specific, be passionate, and most of all, be yourself. Until next time, keep practicing, keep expanding your vocabulary, and keep sharing your wonderful interests with the world. See you in the next episode.